swish and swipe. I'm swishing, I'm swiping, but you won't hear me griping, 'cause
I need more coffee this morning.
Today. I really dig it, I get it. It only takes a minute to keep my house looking this way. And you should see me move when I'm getting in the groove.
Set up straight, y'all.
So high when I'm
Swishing and swiping.
no, you won't hear me griping, 'cause I'm blessing my house today.
That's right.
Made it
A habit.
There's nothing hard about it. Just 15 minutes a day. I'm cleaning and cleaning. I do my quick routines and I'll soon be able to play. You should see me smile when I'm sprucing up this title. Only takes a little while and I'm done. And it's fun when I'm swishing and swiping. No, you won't hear me griping, 'cause I'm blessing my house today.
That's
Here we go now.
Get dressed, Marlene. Maureen, get dressed right now. Get up and get dressed. Fly Lady has called you. Get dressed while you're listening to me. I got my second cup of coffee. Let's do this. No. Unless you're getting ready to go to bed in some part of the world, you need to be dressed to lace up shoes. We can do it. I've had to get dressed twice this morning. Okay, folks. Everybody's wanting to know where everybody's from, so y'all post where everybody's from. I'm in North Carolina, a little town called Brevard, North Carolina. It's in the county of Transylvania County. Yes, you heard that right. Transylvania County. I love being from Transylvania County. I grew up in West Tennessee, though, in Lake County, and all my family is from Graves County, Kentucky. So there you got it. That's my history pretty much. Somebody's packed all their winter clothes away and it's snowing today. That's funny. Yep, they're calling for snow in Colorado, Wyoming, maybe even down as far as New Mexico. So everybody, it's been a rough morning, y'all. It has just been so crazy. It has been crazy. The cat got cornered by the Roomba, and she was complaining, and she didn't like being cornered by the Roomba. So I had to go save the cat, and then I had to set everything up. So folks, we can start our morning over. So if you're not dressed to lace up shoes, let's get dressed to lace up shoes. Now, it's spring, and I know in spring you're ready to plant things, to get stuff going. I've been watching this cute little gardener on YouTube, and she's the Homestead Heart is the name of her little vlog, and this woman can garden. I don't know where she learned it from. Maybe she'll do a question and answer thing so we can figure it out, but she knows how to garden. And she's planting corn in little trays to get a head start on the cold. And she's down in Georgia. I have to figure out where Warner Robins, Georgia is. I've been to a lot of places in Georgia. A lot of military posts. Anyway, this girl is just amazing. She's a grown woman. She's got grown kids and grandkids. But she knows how to garden. And I don't know where she learned it. But You always got to be careful this time of year because we have thunderstorms, getting on hurricane season, and sometimes thunderstorms. Thunderstorms create a lot of rain. So today is plan and play day, and I want us to think about hurricane season. But we need to add another. Now this is sad, y'all. This is really sad. We need to add another emergency into our list of emergencies called riots. If you live in a city, you need to be prepared for riots because we have a trial going on in Minnesota, in Milwaukee, that it doesn't matter how the trial comes out. Listen to me. It doesn't matter how the trial comes out. There are going to be riots. There are. And it's not a whole lot we can do about it, except stay home and not be in the middle of it. We do not want to be in the middle of it. So let's get some groceries in the house. Let's plan for emergencies. And that can be a major emergency. I've been in a city when protesters and rioters were out on the street. And it's not fun. It is not fun at all, y'all. Not fun. In fact, it's scary. And they were stopping traffic and they wouldn't let you go. But guess what? This girl has a 4-wheel drive truck. And I went down the median and around. I'm not going to get stuck. I'm not stopping. Not stopping. They're going to try to stop traffic and pull you out of your car. Nope. Not going to happen to this girl. First off, I'm going to stay home. Secondly, I'm always packing. And third, if I don't have a gun, I've got a billy club. Nobody's going to break my window and get by with it. There you have it. But if you live in a city, and I don't live in a city, I live out in the country. And if somebody comes up my driveway, they're either lost delivering a package or they're up to no good. And maybe the Jehovah's Witness ladies. But I know them. I talk to them. But they're not doing much of that since COVID. But we've got to plan for emergency. So what happens when you're without power? How are you going to cook? Well, you need stuff in your pantry to feed your family. Or you need to utilize what's in your refrigerator and get it cooked up. Get it cooked up. And if you have an alternate way, if you've got a barbecue grill, that's another way to cook. There's just lots of ways to cook. You can get on YouTube and find a way to make a buddy burner. We did that in Girl Scouts. But you have to get outside to do that. Unless you have a fireplace and you can cook in your fireplace. Oh, by the way, please share our videos. Please share our videos. And give us a thumbs up on YouTube. It always helps. Makes me feel good when you like what we're doing. So, planning for the only time we've ever had a problem here where I live is we had 10 inches of rain in one day. When that happens, you're in a tough place because you can't go out because roads are blocked with running water because we have a lot of streams around here. But if you know where the water gets high, then you know to stay home. Stay home unless your house is going to get flooded. Now, if you're in a hurricane area, and we get plenty of warning when it comes to hurricanes. We have plenty of warning. And that warning tells us that we got 5 days warning if we know a hurricane is coming at us. 5 days of warning, pretty much, if it's coming to your area. I watched Mike in Florida. He has a great Tropical Tidbits is his website. And he pretty much helps us. I have a son who's a weatherman. And if we're going to get hit with a hurricane coming our direction, the most rain ever recorded in this country happened right here in this county. And Justin studied about it when he was in meteorology school. He never dreamed he'd live close to this, but 2 tropical storms met right on top of Transylvania County. And we got like 30 inches of rain in one spot. It was awful. I mean, I've seen pictures of it. Earthen dams were overrun. It was terrible. Lake Toxaway went away because the dam broke. So know what your risks are. Don't walk around like a zombie, not knowing what's going on. Understand where the low areas of your community are. When we have a lot of rain, we don't even bother driving out Wilson Road because it's going to be closed because there's a section of Wilson Road by the water plant that gets underwater, and not just a little underwater, big underwater. And you can't drive through it. And Robert's car couldn't drive through it. My truck probably could. But I'm not going to do that because I'm not stupid. I've got common sense. So you've got thunderstorms, flash floods, tornadoes. Do you have your emergency settings on your phone so that you will get a blast of sound when there's a tornado warning in your area? And weather is fickle, y'all. Tornadoes can pop up, and thunderstorms, we usually see a line coming at us across the country. We got a big old cold front coming down right now, and it's creating snow going down into New Mexico. But that could run across the country unless it just draws right back up. Pardon me, I need more coffee, y'all. So we got thunderstorms. Here's another one. You might have to be evacuated. Do you live near some train tracks? You might have to be evacuated if a train overturns or hits a truck or something on a crossway, because they may be carrying dangerous materials. If you live close to an interstate, trucks can have accidents and have bad things on them, and you might have to be evacuated. If you're close to a what was I going to say? Let me think. If you're close to an interstate, that could be a problem. Be aware. Do you have a manufacturing company in your town that uses some really bad chemicals? We used to have one here. It was Acosta, and it was a paper mill, and they used chlorine. And they parked the chlorine tanks right by the elementary school, for God's sakes. It was awful. I thought it was terrible that they parked these tankers of chlorine right by the elementary school. So, folks, know what your dangers are. Don't walk around oblivious to what's going on in your community. Know where the floods are. You can go to a map. No, earthquakes are another one. Earthquakes have been happening in western North Carolina and in northwest Tennessee, where I grew up. Earthquakes are happening. They're happening all over all the time. You just have to go on the USGS map and you can see where they are. So know what your emergencies could be. If the middle of the country got hit with an 8 or a 9 magnitude earthquake, there would be millions of people sleeping outside, y'all. Sleeping outside. So know your dangers. Know what could happen in your area. And just put together an evacuation bag we could have high winds here. We've had really high winds here, and I've been out in them. High winds could take our roof off, even though we got a new roof, but we have a tarp that we could cover our whole house with, a blue tarp. And with my fly fishing skills, I could cast a line right over the top. So know your risk. If you travel a lot and you're driving back and forth to work, Robert used to do this. He had an hour and 20-minute drive to his courthouses. 2 directions. He would have to go to Marion and he would have to go to Rutherfordton in North Carolina. It was a 5-county district and he was the head judge over all of them. And he had this hour and 20-minute drive. And he got caught in a snowstorm one time. It was before we were married. And, an hour and 20-minute drive turned into 8 hours stuck on the interstate. Imagine that. We have to know what our dangers are. You need to have supplies in your trunk. I have an emergency bag in my car. I have some emergency items inside the cab of my truck, underneath my back seat. So folks, know what these emergencies are. Put together a little bag. So Robert had a little Mylar blanket. I think he had a bottle of water. What else did he have? Flashlight. You never know. If you've got to walk, you may have to have a flashlight. So know what's going on. Now, right now, however things go in Minnesota, every big city is going to have potential riots. Be prepared. Be prepared. We don't like it. It is what it is. Somebody's saying tornadoes are the worst. Yeah, they just pop up. One time my sister was in Atlanta, and I was watching this storm. I've been watching this storm all day. It hit Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and she had gone to Atlanta with a girlfriend, her best friend, and I called her up and I said, Sister Patty, where are you? And she says, well, I'm in Atlanta. And she said, I'm getting ready to head home. And I said, no, you're not. No, you're not. You need to stay in Atlanta tonight. And she said, why? And I said, because there's a storm coming across Alabama right towards you. And the way it's headed is you're going to meet up with it while you're on the interstate. You have to stay put. This is what comes with having a sister that loves the weather. So folks, she stayed in Atlanta, and it was a good thing because the tornado hit the interstate. This wasn't having, I wasn't predicting this from it's my common sense told me that this is going to meet, and she's going to come she's 2 hours from Atlanta, and by the time she got an hour from home, it was going to hit. I knew the speeds. I said, you have to stay. And she stayed. She barely got home the next day because there were tractor trailers strewn all, is that the right word? Just piled up all over the interstate. It took a while to get them cleared off. That was April the 27th, I believe. I don't know what year, but people lost everything. And this tornado was on the ground for a number of miles, from way down in Mississippi all the way through Alabama and in to northwest Georgia. So folks, it's storm time. Be ready. Be ready. It's just how it is. You got to be ready. You need food in your house. You need a go bag if you need to evacuate for any reason. I had to ask somebody the other night. There was a tornado warning in their area. I said, "What are you going to do if the tornado, if you hear, what are you going to do?" And she says, "I'm going to get into my bathtub." And I said, "Take a blanket and some pillows with you and cover up under them." And it didn't have a window in the room. So she was going to be that. She already had a plan. I was so proud. When she was at work, she had a plan for what happened when she was at work. If you're in a big office building, you probably need to get in a stairwell somewhere. But you've probably got a room designated. If you're in, you just have to know what to do. So be prepared. Have a plan. Having a plan keeps you calm. It keeps you calm, having a plan. Now, what happens if your house catches on fire? Because thunderstorms are bad. I mean, bad. Our house caught on fire from a thunderstorm a few years back. And lightning hit a tree in our forest about 200 yards from the house. And the roots of the tree hit the fence, followed the fence to underneath the house where it stopped about this far from the house. And the lightning jumped from the fence to a nail underneath the kitchen. That nail the lightning jumped from that nail to the trunk line for our heating and air conditioning. And it went all the way to the trunk line, to the unit, and blew out a hole this big in my thumb in the Freon tubes. I mean, it was awful. It was awful. And our house would have burned down if Robert hadn't have been home. Now, I get points for having a plan. I had fire extinguishers at the bottom of the basement stairs. I have another fire extinguisher at the top of the basement stairs. Bam. It was what he grabbed a fire extinguisher. The wood of the base of support of our basement was on fire. And I hollered down because I heard this awful noise, and Michelle was here, heard this awful noise. I said, "Are you okay?" And he says, "We have fire. Call 911. So that's the first thing I did was call 911. I instructed Michelle to get the dogs out of the house. She put the dogs in her car. We had 3 dogs at that time. 3 dogs. She put the dogs in her Subaru. And then I proceeded to try to get the cats out of the house. And I took a little cat treat bottle and I shook it. And the cats come running. You got to train your cats. Yes, you can train cats. I got them out the back door, shut the door, and the house was filled with this haze. It wasn't smoke, it was Freon. I grabbed my computer and my office bag. I have a bag, a suitcase that I carry with me everywhere. Grabbed that suitcase, put it out on the front porch, checked to see where Robert was, and he had just retired. So he grabbed his camera equipment, put them outside, put his car outside of the garage, and we waited on the fire truck. Fire truck got here, and the fire was out, but they still got called, and we had to get an electrician to come and investigate everything. So I could tell you that story this afternoon. Anyway, we were prepared. We had a plan. We implemented that plan, and we're sitting in the car with the rain pouring down the fire truck here. So we saved our animals. We saved ourselves. We saved our important stuff, because everything else, all I had to do was grab my computer, because now I could just go buy another computer and hook up to the cloud, and I would have everything. But we had a plan, and that plan saved our animals, saved us, saved our home. Saved our home. And then we got interviewed by the news later that afternoon. Anyway, folks, have a plan. Implement that plan. Be ready for whatever could come your way, because it keeps you calm when you have a plan. You can do this, folks. You really can. God has us in his hands, but he gives us a brain for a reason. You can do it. I'll see you at 3 o'clock. You bring your tea. Maybe I'll get to be outside on the back deck. Yep, clothes dryers are bad to cause fires. When's the last time you cleaned out the inside of your clothes dryer? Yeah. Cleaned out the dryer hose going outside. That is a big cause of fire. I've known several people that had fires that way. Now, Robert, we got our new to us wood stove yesterday, and Robert is going to put the flue right down our second chimney to keep fire hazard down. Yeah, and every year he'll know how to clean it. In fact, I'll probably buy him some cleaning tools for Christmas. Chimney cleaning tools. Anyway, folks, drink up. Be safe out there. Always look to the sky. What's going on in the sky? Know the weather. Look at the weather as part of your before bed routine. Know what's happening. Some people are totally oblivious. It's either they have a weather thing that they look outside, and if the stick's wet, it's raining. If the stick's dry, it's sunny outside. Know what your weather is. There's apps for that. I use one called Carrot, and it is funny as all get out. So be safe out there. Do what you can to be prepared. And I'll see you at 3 o'clock. Good Lord willing. I love you all. See you later.